You're gonna get up here, aren't you? Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. This is Lenny, my cat. He's 14, he's an old guy. Lexi's here too, but she's on the other side of the camera, so you can't see her. She's kind of sneaky that way. We nicknamed her Houdini because she likes to disappear. If you're new to my channel, my name is Dusty and I like to read children's books and just books in general. And if you like to hear them, then subscribe and please welcome to listen in for your little ones or yourself or whoever. And today we're going to start reading Gus and the Baby Ghost by Jane Thayer. My daughters loved Gus, so that's how he came to be. Gus the Ghost and Mr. Frizzle ran the historical museum. Gus at night and Mr. Frizzle during the day. Mr. Frizzle lived upstairs. Gus had an attic apartment. Cora the cat lived here and there, and Mouse the mouse had his own private quarters. Late one night when Gus was in charge, Cora came in from a moonlight walk and said, "There's a baby ghost outside." So there's everybody. Gus and Cora and Mouse and their house. Sure enough, a baby ghost wrapped in a ghostly blanket lay on the step. "What do I do with it?" Gus cried. "Wah!" yelled the baby ghost. "Feed," said Cora. Grown-up ghosts never get hungry, but baby ghosts often do. Aw, look, there's the baby ghost. Do you want to see the pictures, Lenny? Gus carried the baby ghost in its blanket into the old-fashioned kitchen and found some milk. "Warm," advised Cora. Gus warmed the milk. "Bottle," said Cora, and Gus made some ghostly remarks and a baby's bottle appeared. "Wah!" yelled baby ghost when the milk was gone. "Burp," advised Cora. Gus tossed baby ghost over his shoulder and patted up. A little bubble came up. "Wah! Change," directed Cora. Gus produced a clean diaper. "Coo," said the baby ghost contentedly when the diaper was changed. There they all are. Pages are hard to turn. "Sleepy," said Cora, and Gus had just laid baby ghost into the antique cradle when it covered it with a old paisley shawl when Mr. Frizzle came running downstairs in his bathrobe flying. Uh-oh, Mr. Frizzle looks upset. "I thought I heard a baby," he cried. "Baby ghost," corrected Gus. "Where?" yelled Mr. Frizzle. "Cradle," said Gus. The cradle looked empty to Frizzle, but he could see it was rocking gently. "What in the thunder is it doing here?" he shouted. "Sleeping," said Gus. Mr. Frizzle, who had a terrible temper, began to shout and tell Gus he wouldn't have a baby ghost in the museum. Gus began to shout back, not knowing what else to do. Cora went under the Boston rocker and Mouse scurried into the wall, and baby ghost waked up with the noise and yelled, "Meow!" And Cora yelled, "Meow!" And the mouse snarled, "Shut up! And go to bed, Frizzle!" shouted Gus. Lots of shouting and noise. Goodness sakes. Goodness. Finally, Mr. Frizzle pounded upstairs, and when he was gone, Gus sat down with a sigh of relief in the Boston rocker, and Cora leaped into his lap. Gus rocked the cradle until baby ghost fell asleep. Gus understood how Mr. Frizzle felt. Frizzle was proud that many people came to see the museum, and he didn't want anything to frighten them away. Gus kept out of the way, but a crying baby ghost might not. "I'll do something tomorrow," thought Gus. He fell asleep, rocking the cradle. Baby ghost slept. Cora slept up. Only Mouse whisked away busily, looking for a crumb of something. Aw, look at there. They all are content now. Time to snooze. And there's busy Mouse. When daylight came, Gus warmed another bottle for baby ghost. "Bath," advised Cora. Gus got a baby bathtub and filled it with warm, ghostly water. Baby ghost was so cute, splashing and happily gurgling, that Gus began to feel happy himself. And when he had had it all dry and smelling of ghostly talcum powder, he decided he would like to keep the little baby ghost. "But I can't keep it in my attic apartment," he told himself. "It has to be sleep in the cradle. Besides, my ghostly bones are too old to run up and stairs with bottles," and he carried the baby ghost back to the old cradle. "Ah!" cried baby ghost, who was hungry again. Down came Frizzle, filled with fury. "It's still here," he cried. "Shh," said Gus. "Call the police," shouted Mr. Frizzle. "Very funny," said Gus. "Wah!" yelled baby ghost. All that noise. So much racket. It all starts with Mr. Frizzle losing his temper. Mr. Frizzle called the police himself. "There's a baby ghost at the Historical Museum. Come and get it." "Beg your pardon," said the police. "I want to get rid of a baby ghost," said Mr. Frizzle. 2 policemen came. "What seems to be the trouble?" they said. "We've got a baby ghost," said Mr. Frizzle. "Are you feeling all right, Mr. Frizzle?" asked the police. "I feel fine," shouted Frizzle. "Show us the baby ghost, then," said the police politely. But Gus had decided that he was going to scare the policemen away. He raced upstairs and brought down his bang-clang equipment, and he kept it in case somebody wanted to hear a ghost clanking around. "Bang! Clank!" went Gus as he used bang-clank equipment. "Wah!" yelled the baby ghost at the noise, and the policemen turned pale and bumped into each other, rushing out the door. Look at all that chaos. Goodness gracious. Just then an early visitor arrived. "Keep that kid quiet," hissed Frizzle. Gus snatched baby ghost from his cradle and gave it a bottle. He sang a ghostly lullaby until it went back to sleep. Frizzle felt calmer when the visitor left without knowing that they had a baby ghost. He said in a reasonable voice, "Now, Gus, if you know you've got to get rid of it. If I keep it quiet," Gus thought craftily, "Frizzle will never know it's here." "Leave it to me, Frizzle," he said, and Mr. Frizzle went off reassured. Then Gus got a book on the feeding and care of baby ghosts. Looks like Cora's been a big help to him as well, besides the book now. He ordered milk from the milkman and put in a supply of baby food, ghostly diapers, and talcum powder to keep baby ghost comfy. He found a ghostly rattle and other toys to keep it amused. He oiled the antique music box so it played tinkly tunes that baby ghost liked to hear. And baby ghost was content and didn't cry. But one day, Mr. Frizzle, who thought baby ghost was gone, happened to be passing the cradle when he heard a soft coo. He stopped short and stared at the cradle. "You didn't get rid of it," he shouted. "Wah!" cried baby ghost, alarmed by the noise. "Meow!" yelled Cora, alarmed by baby ghost. "Listen, Frizzle," yelled Gus. "Look at all the supplies for baby ghost. I think a baby ghost is cute." Then he lowered his voice. "If you would control your temper, everything would be fine." Finally, Mr. Frizzle sat down in the Boston rocker. Not knowing what else to do, he lowered his voice too and said, "Hmm." And he stared at the cradle, which still looked empty to him. "Do you swear it won't cry and ruin business?" he demanded. "If you don't come roaring down," retorted Gus. Said Mr. Frizzle, and then Gus put up a large sign, "Quiet, please," to remind Mr. Frizzle. Mr. Frizzle began to talk to visitors in hushed tones, and he stopped shouting at Gus. And he didn't even say, "Humph," because he didn't want to make the ghostly baby ghost cry and alarm the people. But Gus saw him glance at the cradle sometimes, and he knew Mr. Frizzle was nervous. There's the sign, "Quiet, please." One day, Mr. Frizzle was telling a lady visitor in hushed tones so he wouldn't wake baby ghost. "This is an antique cradle." Suddenly, Mr. Frizzle and the visitor and Gus, who was nearby, were startled to hear quite plainly, "Coo." "Have you got a baby ghost?" the lady cried. "Certainly not," said Frizzle. "Oh, I wish you had a baby ghost," said the lady sadly. Frizzle looked at the lady in surprise and eyed her suspiciously. Was she joking? He liked to please the visitors in the museum, so finally he said cautiously, "We might have a small baby ghost." The lady rushed off to tell her friends that this delightful, wonderful historical museum had something very special, a real baby ghost. Soon, crowds of people tiptoed in and stood around, waiting to hear the baby ghost in the antique cradle under the old paisley shawl say, "Coo." Look at the crowd. Lots and lots of people come to see the ghost in the museum. Mr. Frizzle looks quite proud now, doesn't he? "Your baby ghost sounds so happy," whispered everybody. Mr. Frizzle proudly whispered back, "Our baby ghost has a happy home, that's why." Before long, baby ghost was a permanent member of the household. Sometimes when the museum closed after a busy day, Mr. Frizzle sat down in the Boston rocker in a rare good humor. Cora leapt into his lap, and Mouse kept quiet as a mouse, and Mr. Frizzle rocked the cradle. And there they all are. Look at how content they look now. He seems much happier now that he's not losing his temper. While Gus hang baby ghosts ghostly washing out in the evening air. So there you go, Gus taking care of baby ghosts. And we'll have some more Gus ghost stories in the next couple of books. And I hope you'll come back to join me and hear more. Have a great day, and thank you for coming to listen.